Joan Miro was a famous artist from Spain who became popular during the 20th century. He was a painter, sculptor, and ceramicist, and he explored many styles of artwork such as surrealism, automatism, and abstract expressionism. He believed that the popular artists in Europe during this time were being used for political means, so he challenged the established conventions of fine art and made his new techniques acceptable. He used a limited color palette of bold colors, organic and geometric shapes, abstracted cartoon-like objects, and simplified lines. He invented the technique of spontaneous automation, in which he allowed himself to freely render whatever lines and shapes came to him in the moment, and he did not pre-plan his composition. This technique made his artwork to appear as if a child had painted them. During World War II, Miro made a series of 23 paintings with the same theme called the Constellations. These enchanting paintings contain compositions filled with simplified lines and shapes that represent figures, stars, and sky. Included in the series is this painting called The Lightning Bird Blinded by Moonfire, and it was completed in 1955. Does the title give you any clues about the objects in this painting? Let's make an original automatic style drawing and painting. On a piece of watercolor paper, draw 10 dots randomly spaced out with a pencil. Next, connect the dots with different types of lines. Before you draw, decide which 2 dots to connect and what kind of line to draw. For example, I started with a straight diagonal line, then a zigzag, a curved line, 2 more straight lines, a spiral, a straight line, zigzag, and a curve. Now look at your drawing and find any hidden figures or objects. Add more lines to emphasize them. For example, I saw a bird and a violin, so I added a circle for an eye, an angled line for the beak, some diagonal lines for violin strings, a curve for the handle, a long straight line to connect the strings, and some curves and zigzags for the feathers. At this point, you're ready to trace over all your pencil lines with a black permanent marker. Make sure to use permanent ink so that it won't bleed when you apply the watercolor paint. To get your watercolors ready, add a few drops of water to each of the watercolor ovals and let them sit and saturate for a few minutes. Think about the colors you want to use and apply the oil pastel to color in some of your design. Start by blending some colors together, such as dark blue and light blue. You can use the side of your pastel with light pressure to create texture. The oil pastel will repel the watercolor paint, therefore be sure to leave enough of the paper uncolored so that the paint will be absorbed. Well, now you're ready to paint. Check the watercolors to see if they're saturated. They should not be translucent, but vibrant and dense with color. This is a wet medium, so always keep your brush and paints saturated with enough water, but not too much to make a puddle on your paper. Paint in one area at a time. Allow it to dry while painting in another area to avoid bleeds. After it's semi-dry, you can add another layer of color, either the same color or a different color, for variety. This layering helps add to the texture effect and gives it more depth. This is a great opportunity to experiment and be creative. Let go of your inhibitions and have fun. Miro said about this style of art, "When I stand in front of a canvas, I never know what I'm going to do, and nobody is more surprised than I at what comes out. So, surprise yourself."